Namaste, welcome back to my channel Leela's Point of View. Today we will be discussing our second case, overpopulation. Generally, when you look at Earth, most of the living species can be categorized into two parts. Those which don't have a need to kill, they can sustain their life on their own, and those which kill and also get themselves killed. These are the second type, like animals. Let's talk about the first type, like plants. Those which don't have a need to kill and are able to sustain their own life. In such cases, overpopulation is not an issue. You never hear someone say a certain plant has overpopulated. Even if it does, it is defined as evolution. Now let's talk about type 2. Those which kill and get themselves killed, like animals. When you talk about these, there is always a killer and there is always a victim who is getting killed. And there is a fine balance which nature strikes between them. If one of them is missing, or if one of them gets extinct, then there will be overpopulation, which is why overpopulation is a major concern in all animals. And overpopulation also depends upon the region. Now I will explain this with a few beautiful examples taken from all over the world. Okay, let's start with Australia. Australia has a very complicated relationship with its national animal, the kangaroo. They are taking over the streets of Canberra so bad that the government is advocating killing them to protect the plants and reptiles they eat. Also, because of consistent drought and many wildfires, they have lost their home and their interactions with humans are increasing day by day. They even break into people's homes and cause traffic issues. Next, we move on to dogs in China. There are so many dogs in China that rabies spread like wildfire. So government brought up a policy of one dog per person. Also, in China, there are also some places where people eat dogs. There are few festivals where people celebrate by making meat of dogs. Next is in the oceans. You might have heard of jellyfish. Their numbers are growing consistently over the years. There may be a day, I think, when they'll be ruling the seas because no one eats them and they eat everything. Next up are badgers from England. Like dogs, their population is spreading bovine tuberculosis in cattle. So, government has planned for wholesale murder of these species. Although some activists say that badgers are not responsible for bovine tuberculosis. Next up are beavers, Argentina beavers, animals which make dams. In 1946, Argentina government bought a 50 of them to start fur trade, and their numbers exploded brutally. These animals are responsible for uprooting many trees. They uprooted many of them, they built dams and changed the course of rivers, thus completely eliminating a few species in that ecosystem and also drastically changing the dynamics of ecosystem. Next up are the monkeys in India. Monkeys in India are of religious significance as they resemble a god called Hanuman. People feed them for religious purposes, turning them into methodics. They break into homes, snatch things from people, and do almost all funny things. Their population is exploding, but there is not much that government can do. Finally, us, humans. Our population is the very definition of overpopulation. If you look at all the above examples, the major cause for their overpopulation is humans. From deforestation increased population, stretched natural resources, problems of growing population are endless. And there are even people among us who consider overpopulation a myth. We have seen that humans, directly or indirectly, are a cause for overpopulation of all other species on this planet. So what we need at this time is a predator who can control this overpopulation level of humans. And we humans are even advanced enough, we made our own predator, and then we raced against time. No, we are racing against time to build a vaccine against this predator, coronavirus. The only known predators we humans have are microbes like corona, nature, and we ourselves. We are also specialized in killing ourselves. We call them wars. The problem with us humans is we haven't stopped there. We are even tweaking the genetics of these plants. We are also trying to control their population to feed our population. Okay, now let's see what we can learn from plants. Plants only take what they need, unlike us. If someone gives me a chocolate, I'll ask for one more. Okay, what I meant to say is we only need to consume what's necessary for us to sustain. Anything excess is not going to solve the problem. Plants always create something of value for others. Even if we are existing, we can always create some value for others. Like whatever the work you are doing, it must be of some value to the whole. Unlike many of us, plants give out way more than they take. Now see how many of us give way more than we take. Most of us are consuming way more than we need because our wants are always higher than our needs. Then plants are also minimalists. All they need to sustain is air, water, sunlight and soil. Unlike us, we require a lot of clothes, a lot of buildings, swimming pools, movie theaters, whatnot, everything. Plants are also capable of building their own defenses. They can even tweak their digestibility. Or they can even release chemicals or toxins to repel their predators. I don't think we have any defenses. Even if we have defenses, we are using it to attack each other. Our army attacks each other. So I don't think we have a point there also. So these are the points I think we humans can learn from plants. If there are any more points, you can always comment down there. If you like the video, please share and subscribe. Also don't forget to click the like button.